Hey, happy Wednesday, everybody. Your coach here. Coach's Call on Tap. This is our weekly college basketball show, led by our number one basketball guy, Kyle, in Pennsylvania. We've got Tristan, the main man behind the scenes. He might look uninterested, but he's doing a lot of work for us, and we love him to death. Tristan is our man in North Carolina. How you doing, Tristan?
Hey, Coach C, how are you doing?
I love you, buddy. I love you, buddy. Hadn't seen you in a good minute last night.
If you didn't watch
Kyle,
Chalk Talk last night, you should go watch it.
go
Yeah, I
watch Chalk
agree.
Talk.
I agree.
Go watch Chalk Talk and
Best one
comment
we've
down
had yet.
below. Comment down below who you think is going to win the national championship, and most importantly, is the NFL rigged? Is it scripted?
No.
Yes, it is.
No.
Anyway, Kyle, stop it. You can go comment over there. Anyway, no, this is our college basketball show. This is week 5. Week 5. We're getting into it. I'm going to start by saying this. So I got home last night, and this is Kyle's show, by the way, but since I'm the mouthpiece, I'm gonna give you a 30-minute cry session that I went through yesterday. I was watching the Illinois game, right? Illinois FAU, which was a pretty good ball game there for a while, and then like in all basketball, fouls and free throws, and so they ran away with. Anyway, it was the Jimmy V tournament, right?
It's technically not a tournament. It's just 2 games, but
It's 2 games.
it's called the Jimmy V Classic. Yeah.
All right. So you know me, I'm old. I watched him coach North Carolina State. I was there, when Dick Vitale looked really young in the stands, and I saw that ESPN live when he was given Man of the Year, and he had cancer, and he started the foundation, and I was in tears for 30 minutes because between the Illinois game and the UConn game, they went back and replayed his entire speech, right? Dick Vitale was there. Coach K, him and Dick Vitale and Coach K walked him off the stage because he was, and it was funny because he's sitting there and he's given his speech, and the guy behind the camera is going 30 seconds, 30 seconds. He goes, look at this guy over here telling me I got 30 seconds. He goes, I got tumors all over my body, and this guy's telling me 30 seconds. It was just the most beautiful speech, and you forget. He says the 3 things that you got to do every day. I'll never forget this. I used to preach this all the time. 3 things you should do every day. You should laugh every day. You should think every day, and you should cry every day. And that right there will fulfill your life every single day. I mean, it was just one of the most amazing speeches. If you guys that are listening, I know a bunch of you guys are young. You probably don't even know who it is. You probably don't even care. But if you do, go YouTube that speech. And I think they've raised over 380, almost $400 million to cancer research.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because ESPN, him and ESPN started, and they raised close to $400 million to the day for cancer research. So he was one of my favorite coaches of all time. He was a lot of fun to watch. He was a character. He was a mouthpiece. He was Sicilian. It was just beautiful to watch. And so anyway, miss you, man. But it was great. Y'all go watch it. Okay, that's my rant for the basketball podcast. I almost got emotional there too, man. Jeez. That's crazy. I'm not going to. Deep breath. This segment of our podcast is brought to you from Woodford Reserve. If you need a drink, want a drink, go ahead and have a drink.
This podcast is brought to you by nobody. If you would like to be our first sponsor, please reach out.
Acadia
Beautiful.
Water, please. Acadia Water.
Yeah, water. There you go. By the way, what is your favorite water, Kyle?
I have one.
My favorite water?
Yeah. If you had to go to the store and buy one bottle of water and you had a $5 bill, what would your favorite water be?
Probably Liquid Death. The water that comes in a can.
I've never tried that. Is it good?
I've never had that.
It just tastes like water.
Really?
Is it really?
Like any regular water.
I thought it was sparkling water.
No, it's not. It's legit just water. It's water in a can.
I tried Smart Water one time. I didn't feel a thing.
I'm not surprised.
Wow. So that and we have that too. We got that going for us.
Can I tell you what my favorite water is?
Do you have time after all? I mean, because you're doing a lot of work behind the scenes. Yeah, please tell me what your number one water is.
It's called it's called Le Bleu. Do you have that there?
Le Bleu.
The
Le
heck
Bleu.
is that?
I'm drawing
It's-
a LeBlanc.
They make it make it in the Blue Ridge Mountains here in North Carolina.
Well, then that's why
Wow.
we don't.
No.
That's why we
You
don't
can
have
get
it.
you can get a big ass bottle of water, probably about that big. It's 99 cents. It's fucking
And it's
awesome.
bottled in a Blue Ridge Mountain, and it's got a tint of tobacco flavor in the back because your grandmother's spitting tobacco into the river. Anyway, this thing is brought to you by Blue Ridge Water. No, it's not, but if you don't want to anyway. Hey, let's get into basketball, man. That's enough. Thank you for opening up there, Kyle. Now we know a little more about you.
Mm-hmm.
That was weird.
Always.
Okay, power conferences, Pac-12, Big Ten, Big East. Well, you said the Big East was 1, Big 12 was 2, ACC was 3, and then you got the other 3. We were looking at hot teams like Zona, Purdue, Marquette, UConn. Dude, Marquette's got a big game tonight here right down the street from me against Texas. Duke, UNC. UNC took one in the chin yesterday. Arky, Houston, Kansas in the Big 12. Let's go. Let's run down your power conferences last week, how they did, Kyle, and what you're looking forward to this week and the next 2 weeks. Let's start with the Pac-12.
Yeah, the Pac-12. I mean, it's the same as last week. It's still Arizona's to lose. It absolutely looks like Arizona's to lose. I haven't seen another team in the Pac-12 yet look like they could even compete with Arizona right now. And Arizona's the only ranked team in the Pac-12. There isn't another ranked team in the Pac-12 other than Arizona. So Arizona, come tournament time, if you want to speak of strength of schedule,
Yeah.
I don't know how high they might be ranked off of their strength of schedule. The Pac-12 can't get it together, but right now that conference is not looking pretty, other than Arizona.
I got you. What about the Big Ten? Because I know there's always a big Pac-12 Big Ten series, and then next year, what is it? Washington, Oregon, USC, UCLA. They're going to the Big Ten.
They are going to the Big Ten.
Yeah.
I think that's the only 4.
The only 4? Yeah, talk to me about the Big Ten. How did they look?
Jeffrey still
how did they look this week?
Video.
My gosh. Hey, this is Puff calling me, by the way.
Is it really?
Let's phone him in. Let's phone him in.
Phone him in.
Phone him in.
All right, here we go. Hey, Puff.
What's up, Coach?
Well, you're live right now Hold on, I'm trying to get you. Can you hear me, Puff?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
What am I live on?
You're live on our college basketball podcast right now, Puff.
It's an honor.
We can't see your face. Well, I mean, I would say the same, but it's really not. I could see your face, but we can hear you.
Okay.
So yeah, what's going on? I don't know why you're FaceTiming me, Puff. What's happening, dude?
What's up? I was calling to talk about some college football stuff, but I'd love to talk about some college basketball, you know.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
You look like you're in a car right now, Puff.
Yeah, I'm good.
You driving home or what? All right. Well, maybe we'll get Puff back here in a little while. But let's go back to you, Kyle. We were talking about the Pac-12. Zona's leading the pack there. There's not so much going on. Let's talk about the Big Ten. What's the Big Ten look like last week, and what are you looking forward to this week, buddy?
Yeah, this past week, the Big Ten got fun. The Big Ten got very, very fun this last week. Purdue going to Northwestern, knocking off the number 1 Boilermakers. Boy, was that ever one of the best games I have ever watched. That you want to talk about back and forth, nonstop action. That was a fantastic basketball game. Boo Buie is an unbelievable player. And that man, once he makes it to the NBA, you got to remember that name right there, Boo Buie, because, I mean,
really?
He's going to be selling some merchandise. That kid can ball, and that kid, he's going to be taking over.
Okay, so here's something. Hey, Tristan, listen to this. Listen to what I'm fixing to say. All right, sounds to me like Northwestern exposed Purdue a little bit because it's early, week 5. They went out and beat them. What did Northwestern do to beat this team? And did they stop the big man? Were they run and gun? Did they slow down? What did they do to beat this ball club?
They just, I mean, like honestly, they just simply like this is gonna sound cliche, but they legit just scored more points than them. I mean, it was just a back and forth high scoring game. They couldn't stop Zach Edey one bit. Like Zach
Right.
Edey had 34, I believe. I believe Zach Edey had 34 points. They couldn't stop him one bit, but that didn't matter because their shooters showed up on that night. And I mean, Zach Edey scoring 2 points at the rim. Northwestern was coming right back at the other end, making threes, 3 and 3. So I mean, 3 points are better than two. I mean, it was just as
But
simple.
that's a
as
tough
that.
way to make. It's a tough way to make a living, huh, Kyle? I mean,
Oh,
you got to shoot fucking 70% to beat something like that, don't you?
Oh yeah, I mean, it was just one of those games where Northwestern was on, and it disgusts me that Northwestern is not ranked in the top 25 right now after that win, and they only have one loss.
Yeah,
Like,
but you're also a Big Ten homer
Mm,
because you're from over there. I mean, come on, let's be honest.
You're from over there.
I mean,
bit.
you're from over there. I mean,
think
come
the
on,
big-
you know that. I mean, I got Puff over here saying that Michigan's going to win the national title over here.
Oh,
I mean, you know,
I did
whatever,
not
dude.
say that. I did not say
I
that.
don't even want. He's going to maul Alabama. That's for another podcast. But you know, you guys are Big Ten homers. That's why I'm really, really curious about this because usually in basketball, and you know, I told you last week, and with my old ass, the Big Ten back in my day was the shit.
Mhm.
I mean, we had, you know, the Fab Five in Michigan. Michigan State was always there. And you had Indiana, right? Indiana's in the Big Ten.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
Indiana,
Hoosiers in the Big
Bobby
Ten.
Knight. No, I mean, come on, dude. That's how I grew up, and so I'm really curious to see how y'all see it. Let's move on to the number one conference that you named last week, the Big East, with Marquette and UConn. UConn got gut punched. I mean, UConn did the gut punching last night, and then Marquette's got a huge game over there, Puff, with one of your favorite schools, Texas. That's going to be exciting. I think everybody's betting Texas to cover this one. Anyway, talk to me about the Big East, Kyle.
Yeah, the one big thing I want to mention about the Big East is that this UConn team has a legitimate shot to win the national championship again. This has not happened since the Billy Donovan Florida Gators, but this team, they have a legitimate shot to win the national championship again. This team looks so good every single game they play. And even the game when they went to Kansas and lost, they played their hearts out. They played their absolute hearts out last Friday at Kansas. And I mean, it was just losing by 1 point on the road at Kansas. I mean, that's no bad loss. I'll tell
What's
you that.
the kid's name that they got back last night?
Stephon Castle.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Big difference there. Talk to me about this. Talk to me about Shaka Khan going back to UT. Everybody's making a big deal about it, but you just don't see it happening, huh?
Well, Marquette's home, first of all.
Oh, my bad.
Marquette's home. So he's not going back to UT, but facing his former team, I can imagine as I said this in my YouTube short, I can imagine he wants to put Texas through the ground. And I mean, I can imagine he wants to beat this team by 30, but I just don't think that's going to happen. I think Texas is too good of a team to just fall over for Marquette, in my opinion. I think Marquette wins tonight. I think it's going to be a good game, great game, back and forth we go. Texas, they definitely have a legitimate shot. They got the players, they got the team, they got the coach, but Marquette on their home floor, it's just a different beast.
What's the line on that?
It was like 9.5 or something like that.
Marquette 9.5?
It was big.
Well, let me ask our
8.5.
Okay, let me ask our local Uber driver right now. Hey, Puff, what do you think about your Longhorns catching 9.5 on the road against Marquette, dude?
8.5.
I think it's
8.5.
I think it's too many points. That Iguodala Standrick matchup tonight is the one that's going to be the make or break whether Marquette covers the spread. If Iguodala can get to work against Standrick, then Texas is going to be in some real trouble. But I actually like Texas to cover because Standrick has been arguably Texas' best player this year, and the guard matchup is really well for this Marquette team. So I think that's going to be the difference is the big men matchup tonight. If Iguodala can get Standrick in foul trouble, then Marquette's going to roll past him.
Wow. Hey, you know what?
I second that.
That was Puff.
I second that.
Highly, highly impressive. Puff, you need to get on the show more often. I like, dude, I just like good basketball. I'm excited. My wife's gone till about midnight. She's at some dinner. So I don't even care where she is. But so I'm going to get to watch basketball all night long. This is going to be fun. Me and Me and my Woodford reserve. This is going to be a blast. What about the ACC? Duke and UNC. UNC went down. And
Yes, they did. And they went down hard.
I'm a big fan. Yeah, big tree fall hard.
It's all right. They went down, but at least they went down to a good team.
Yeah, dude. UConn looked really, really good. What about your Duke? Talk to me about the ACC. Let's go up and down the lineup. Go ahead, Kyle.
The ACC right now, it does look like North Carolina. Really, they really look like the team to beat. I will say, the Tar Heels look like the team to beat in the ACC. My Duke Blue Devils are a disgrace right now. They need to figure it out. They need to figure it out fast, because I'm not going through another season last season where we can't win a damn ACC road game. I'm not going to sit there and watch that.
Get mad,
right now, that's exactly what it looks like. I get the loss to Arkansas. That's a tough place to play. And Arkansas is not a bad team. They just got to figure things out. But when you go to Georgia Tech and you lose at Georgia Tech, that's embarrassing. That's a disgrace to the Duke Blue Devils name. You don't go to Georgia Tech and lose to a shitty team like that.
That's right. Pound the rock.
Let
them know. Let them know. Tell them something here. Tell them something. What do you got, Tristan?
Do you think that the loss of Coach K is like really starting to show now?
I do. No. I think it showed last year too. I get it. John is young. John is young. He's only going to grow. He's only going to get better. But right now, I mean, you can tell if Coach K had this talent right now, they'd be ranked #1 in the country. I mean,
I love me some Coach K. But we have a local Uber driver that thinks different than you do. Puff, Coach K wouldn't make a difference. What's going on over there, buddy? Tell me.
My thing is, Shire's been in Coach K's system his whole life. He knows exactly how he ran stuff. He was in the practices. He was an assistant coach forever there, ever since he graduated there. And he runs it practically the same way. And the amount of talent that team has this year, they should not be losing to teams like that.
Okay, let me ask you this, though, Puff. I want to let you finish, but let me ask you this now. We're talking about Coach K, right? I'm your hype guy here. I can make you run through a brick wall, brother, right? I can do that because you love me. I love you. I'm going to get the best out of you. I want you to be the best, Puff. Of everything, in anything you do, I want you to be the best. And I'm going to do anything in my power. I'm going to treat you like I treat my own kid. You're going to run through a brick wall for me. But if I'm gone, now Tristan has to coach you. He knows everything here. He knows my system. He knows my system. But can he hype you up like I can? Can he get you that ready? Can he get you going? You don't think might be a little difference there, Puff?
It might be a little different, but it shouldn't make a difference with this new age of kids. That's what I'm trying to say.
I got you.
There's a generation gap. Coach K, back then you could turn the kids up to play at that level. Nowadays, these kids go out there and play regardless of who their coach is. It doesn't matter.
Really?
That's just the way I feel. Yeah, this generation's fault.
That's fine. I respect that, dude. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel, dude. I mean, it's all about the dollar bills anyway, right? I mean, let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah, I mean,
this is just a stepping. Duke is just a stepping stone, right? Yeah. Especially now with the transfer portal. Especially now with the transfer portal. Half these kids didn't grow up wanting to be Dukies. Half these kids didn't grow up wanting to be Aggies. They didn't want to be Longhorns. Now it's where can I play now? Where can I get the money as fast as I can? Where can I get to the NBA as quick as I can to buy my mama a big house? And then I can go broke with my homies. I mean, that's what it's about. No, I hear you. That makes perfect fucking sense. It's sad, but it makes sense. Tristan, you got something?
I don't know. I asked Kyle that question because are you guys still here?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Yeah.
Oh, we're lagging a little bit. My bad. I asked Kyle.
You're lagging.
I asked Kyle that question because I remember when Coach K was going out and they had the team to win it all that year. They didn't. And it feels like they're almost still reeling at this point, trying to. Because I mean, Duke's been a powerhouse since I was a kid. They don't feel as powerhousey anymore. Yeah. Not to me, they don't.
Well, Tristan, I mean, let's look at it's tough because when you're a ball coach, and I don't care what sport it's in, okay? So hear me out here for a second. When you're a ball coach and you've done it all your life, that's all you know what to do. Sure. Right? And when you win, look at Bobby Bowden. Bobby Bowden, one of the greatest football coaches ever. he stuck around too long. In his last years, he wasn't as successful as he was before. Paterno over there in y'all's neck of the woods. It was the same way. Snellenberger. You talk about all these great coaches. They stick around too. The only one that I've seen do it right is Mac Brown, because he goes from doing the whole Texas thing, and then he goes to North Carolina, one of the worst conferences in the league. And I apologize to all you
In basketball.
I mean, no, in football.
He's talking
football.
Okay,
football, right?
okay.
I'm just
I'm
talking
sorry.
all around.
He's talking
I'm just talking coaches.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You go too long. Patino the same way, dude. If Patino would have retired when he was, anyway. I see what Coach K just went too long, and I agree with that. You lose touch, Puff. I agree with Puff. There's generational gaps. Some guys drew it real well. Saban's doing it real well. Kirby Smart's doing it well on the football side. But I do agree with that. That it's hard to walk away when you're at your prime, when you're at the top, when you're a ball coach, because that's all you know what to do. Anyway, where were we? ACC, SEC, Arkansas, Woo Pig Suey. I have yet to watch them play. Kyle, they're still the top. Is anybody coming up? Does anybody look good? Are my Aggies, do they stand a chance?
I mean, they stand a chance. I mean, there's been times that Texas A&M has looked very good, and then there's been times that Texas A&M hasn't looked very good. And I feel like you could say that about every SEC team right now. And like I said last week, these teams are really trying to still find themselves, and you could see that. I mean, Kentucky went out and beat Miami by 30, and then turned around and lost to North Carolina Wilmington.
So let me ask you this. I want to ask you, Kyle, first, and Puff. I want you to answer this also. I'm going to come to you. All right, you guys watch a lot of basketball, especially mid majors too, Puff. And I'm fixing to hammer you with this here in a little bit. But you're looking at the athletes in. We're not going to talk about the Pac-12 because we're really down on them right now. Let's talk about the Big Ten and the Big East, and the ACC. You see these teams, you see the athleticism, you see them run up and down the court, you see the big men. I mean, Puff just laid it down about, if these two big men, it's all up to them, whoever does this, that, and the other. And you talk about that team, Northwestern, just hitting every shot and all this. You're looking at those athletic teams. And when you look at the SEC, just on the eye test, I'm going to go to you first, Kyle. Do they stand a chance against those other conferences, or does it look like a level below?
I think it's hard to say. I think because it really depends on the team. Like it really does, because right now from what we're seeing from Kentucky is some nights they're going to play out of their mind. They're going to play great, and then other nights they're going to turn around and they're just going to lay a dud. But really, when they've been laying duds, it's not that they haven't been scoring points. It's mainly because they just can't play defense. I mean, they're just not playing defense whatsoever down there.
Right.
So I think it's really hard to judge right now, because I think there's some SEC teams that could crush some Big Ten teams right now. But then I also think there's some one or two Big Ten teams that could walk into an SEC school and win right now.
You know what I think that is, though, with Kentucky? It's their freshmen.
Yeah.
Sometimes they look like freshmen. They have a lot of freshmen playing. And but then the athleticism does come out, and they do play great some nights.
But isn't this the team, Kyle, that you said had like 13 starters?
Arkansas.
Okay, never mind. Okay, so gun to head, Kyle, right now, gun to head, because I do it in the college podcast. When people say, well, top to bottom to me, SEC is the best conference in the nation, top to bottom. Now, some of you guys think I'm wrong. This is what I'm asking you. Top to bottom, is the SEC inferior to these other three conferences?
Inferior?
Yes.
Yeah.
Lesser. Top to bottom. Yeah. Gun to head, real quick. Yes or no?
I think right now, yes.
Thank you. Puff.
I think right now, yes.
Puff, let us have it. Give me the real shit.
I do not. I look at this SEC, and even the scrub teams are kind of good this year, which is weird. And there's two teams that flew under the radar that nobody is talking about. and that's Ole Miss and South Carolina. They both are 7-0 right now.
I'll add on
And
South Carolina
those
in a
two-
minute.
And I was looking at this Ole Miss team, and they are loaded with talent. Like, they're so good. They're one of my teams I talk about all the time, where the Discord, text message, everything.
They didn't cover yesterday, though.
They did not. It fucked me over pretty
Yeah,
bad.
I know.
But when I think this year is the SEC's most well-rounded talent pool that they've had in forever.
Okay.
And I think that it's one of them years where some random ass team like one of these Ole Miss or South Carolinas could end up winning the SEC. So for me, I think head like top to bottom, I think they could compete with any conference right now.
Oh, okay. I like it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Ole Miss. Go ahead, Kyle.
Yeah, I like what he's saying about Ole Miss. Like I said, I've told him this many times. Ole Miss at the beginning of the season, it's ugly win after ugly win after ugly win. And I just need to see more out of Ole Miss for me to believe in them. South Carolina, I don't believe in South Carolina one bit. I don't think South Carolina is a good team at all. South Carolina it's more like Ole Miss, except Ole Miss has had better competition than South Carolina. South Carolina is almost losing to some very, very, very bad teams. And I think tonight, I'm betting this, by the way, Clemson -8 on the home floor against South Carolina. 2 unbeaten teams. I think Clemson's going to wipe the floor with them. I really do.
Okay.
I think Clemson's going to wipe the floor.
Tristan?
Kyle, I want you to talk a little bit to me about one of my favorite teams that I've been kind of keeping an eye on. FAU. Bro, FAU is some ballers. I mean, they've been hot. 7-2. They've almost cracked the top 10. I think they're primed for a deep March Madness run.
FAU, my comparison to FAU right now is Texas A&M. You just don't know what you're going to get. Some games they're playing really well, other games they're not playing good. They lose to Illinois yesterday, and then the one random loss to Bryant. Just an out there random loss there.
They must be young. Are they young? Is that a young team? Because
No.
I watched the last.
No.
It's the same team as last year.
I watched the last 10 minutes of the game, and I'm like, these are stupid fouls. They're doing stupid shit. Even their coach is like, what are you doing? Like, it just didn't make sense. They had a minute left. There was no reason to foul in the backcourt. They had a minute left, and they were only down like 4. And I'm like, dude, they might pull this off. And then a stupid foul here. They make the 2. They miss a bucket. Here we go. And, it's just one of those things. That's the only reason I asked. Go ahead. Keep going.
Well, I have some other I have another question. It's not FAU. But it's
Fired at me.
I'm looking at the top 25 right now.
Mm-hmm.
Is
It's
there
a joke.
Yeah, well, is there a reason 4-3 Tennessee is ranked 17th?
Yeah, it's like I said, it's pathetic. The people that are doing the rankings, I mean, they're just I don't know what they're watching.
They never dribbled
really
a basketball in their life.
Yeah, I don't know what they're watching.
That doesn't even make sense to
Tennessee
me.
should not be ranked. Duke should not be ranked. Northwestern should be ranked. And one of these unbeaten teams that Puff is mentioning, even though they're ugly wins, like Ole Miss and South Carolina, you're unbeaten right now. And there's 3 lost teams in the top 25. You're both Power 5 teams. That unbeaten Power 5 team should be ranked. There's no
But that's the beautiful thing about basketball. Who gives a shit about the polls? We don't give a shit about the polls for another 2 months.
Fair enough.
Because you're gonna go out there, and then you not only that, you have the conference basketball tournament. NCAA football, it's just so cool how they have all these fucking tournaments to get in. Anyway, you got all these tournaments and everything, and Tennessee, if they aren't as good as you say, right, then they will get exposed in that fucking tournament by the good teams. Duke the same way,
wrong.
But once you get there, I just don't. I've never looked at those rankings this early, because I mean, all it takes is you got to get hot at the end. So Miami was another one. The reason I asked about the SEC and how they look is because last year, me and Tristan talked about this a lot. That Miami team last year was so athletic. We watched them play, and I mean, it was unbelievable how athletic, but they couldn't win a game. And then at the end they got hot. And then they got hot at the end, and they ended up winning like 3 rounds or something like that. It was just one of those things. Anyway, go ahead, Tristan. You had another team?
No, that was just it. I was just looking at these rankings, and I'm like, this doesn't even make sense. Like
You know,
I know Coach said it doesn't matter yet. But I mean, it does matter a little bit because
Why?
It's the top 25. It matters.
I think it matters more to the teams than it does the than to us, obviously.
Well, I mean, if I was a coach, who gives a shit? I don't care. I wouldn't want to be number 1 right now. I don't want to be number 1 until that last week. I wouldn't want to be number 1 until the last week, until the week after all the conference championships. I don't want to be number 1 until we hit March Madness so I can play number 16, depending on what bracket I'm in, because, but that's, you know what I mean?
Anyway, I can't wait. I cannot wait. For
Since Tristan brought up FAU and they were the Cinderella story of last season, I'd like to bring up a team at a mid-major level right now that could potentially be the Cinderella story of this season, and we might be eyeing it up early.
Can I guess?
That's the team that I mentioned earlier.
Let him guess.
Yeah,
go ahead, Tristan.
Is it James Madison?
No, but I mean that is a team that we absolutely need to keep our eyes on.
St. Joe's. St. Joe's.
No, but again, another team we need.
Colorado State.
All right, no, you got one guess. You got one guess.
I know. No, I'm just going off the notes of last.
It's North Carolina Wilmington.
Oh, I like it.
Oh,
North Carolina Wilmington. Not only did they walk into Arkansas and win, they also walked into Kentucky and won.
They sure as fuck did. My neck of the woods, baby.
Like that's
Jesus.
Do you know how impressive that is? Like, not many teams can say that they walked into Arkansas and Kentucky in the same season and they're not a Power 5 team and they beat both of them.
Wow.
This is a team, like, I watched that game against Kentucky. They're a good basketball team.
Yeah.
They're a really good basketball
My buddy's a diehard Kentucky fan. He said they couldn't stop them.
Mm-hmm.
They did whatever they wanted to do, and they could not stop them.
All right, do me a favor. Let's because we're fixing to get in the mid majors now that we have Puff here too, and he loves that mid major stuff. We got one more conference to go over, and then we'll get back into the UNC Wilmington.
Yes,
the
sir.
Big 12, the Big 12, the Big 12. Let's start with Puff here real quick. Let's go to the big because I know we got a big UT homer over there. The Big 12. What's the Big 12 looking like, Puff? What do you see? What's going on? What do we look forward to? Is it a hit or a miss?
Yeah, I think the Big 12 is a miss as of right now, just from what I've seen so far. It's like the team. There's so much potential and talent with all these teams. It's just I haven't seen it been used by any of them yet. Like Kansas, they were struggling with who was it? Eastern Illinois the other night.
Yep.
You can't, and like it's hard for me to say that they're a top 5 team when they played like shit against them. Kansas State still has not shown up to a game to play this year. It's just hard for me to put trust in any team in the Big 12 right now. I will say Iowa State is my sleeper team for the Big 12. I think they are very talented, and when they get everything going, that they're gonna.
Puff, I had one of my own picks last night. It was OU. I didn't know why they were only favored by 4 against Providence at home. I went ahead and took it. I think they won by 12. What do you think about OU, Puff?
Yeah, I think they're a very talented team, and I like the way they play ball. As much as I'm a Texas fan, I despise that school. I must say that they are a very talented team, and I think they can be a big dog this year for the Big 12.
There you go. What do you think, Kyle? Do you agree, disagree?
Yeah, no, the two teams that are nobody's talking about in the Big 12 right now, but they are ranked, but they're just like they're behind. Like everybody's talking about Houston, Kansas, and Baylor right now. And as they should, that's 3 very good teams. But 2 teams that need to be said about is Oklahoma and BYU.
Yeah.
Because Oklahoma is playing great.
BYU, you got it. Go ahead.
BYU looks like they're going to be competing for the conference title.
Really?
They're going to be competing for the conference title. They are. Here's a fun fact for you, and I was going to.
And they play basketball with like a regular basketball, right?
Yeah. Yep. They look fantastic. They look great. They're one of the best teams that I've gotten to watch so far this season, and they're blowing teams out left and right. And a fun note that I was going to mention later, but I might as well mention it now: BYU's 8-0 against the spread this year. Every single
that's a huge.
spread.
You need to start the
Yep.
fucking podcast with that. That's the way, that'll hold people in. 8-0
Yep.
BYU,
8
man,
and
against
0.
the spread. Let's rock and roll.
Oh
Hey,
yeah.
are we still
Fire it
fading?
down.
Are we still fading Okie State?
Yes, we are. Absolutely.
Yes, it worked last night. Shit,
Yep.
them guys suck.
I
Dude,
missed
they're
it. I
terrible.
missed it. I
They're
missed it.
terrible.
I missed Okie State. I did hit Oklahoma though. OU. Thank you for that. Yeah, you need to stay unbiased if you're going to be on this podcast, Puff, because we need Big 12 info, and we're all about winning money. Anything else on the Big 12? Tristan, you got any questions? Anything else we got going on in the Big 12 before we move
I got
on to
another
mid-majors?
team that we could fade in the Big 12 right
Okay.
now, and that is UCF. They look just as bad as Oklahoma State, and they're not covering shit. They've covered once this season.
And we're keeping Kansas in the fade list, right?
Yeah.
In the Big 12? Okay. Okay.
And I think you can add Kansas State to that list too. They're just not
Yeah, I was
playing good
gonna say,
basketball at
like,
all.
a lot of these teams in the Big 12 they're all starting to get added to the fade list.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's gonna suck when they go to conference.
Yeah, I think
bet
you
a
can
bunch
tell
of
you can
unders?
tell who the top teams are in the Big 12 and who are the bad teams. I think that's very obvious.
I got you.
Yeah.
Kyle, you know who
Like,
my
as a
go ahead, Puff. Go ahead.
sorry, if I had to put like a power rankings right now for the Big 12 for like top 3, I would say it goes BYU, Oklahoma, Texas. That'd be mine, and then Kansas. That'd be like my top 4 right now if I had to pick, because BYU hands down has looked like the most well-rounded team that I have seen in a long time.
I have got to watch this, dude. You know, all I'm
Mhm.
thinking about is 10 Amish kids on the court. That's when I think BYU basketball. Isn't that horrible?
You got the rivalry game on Saturday against Utah if you want to watch that.
Yeah,
That's
that's gonna be a
BYU's
fire
next game.
I mean, that doesn't even sound appealing. But okay. I'll do that. Go ahead, Tristan.
Kyle, you know what one of my favorite leagues have always been to watch with
Yep.
college
Agreed.
basketball is Ivy League. Dude, I love watching Princeton. They're so good.
Okay. Please first,
They're
before
9-0.
Puff, before you answer this, or before you do your remarks, what is it about Ivy League basketball
Dude,
that you
Princeton
like?
Princeton, first of all, it's mainly Princeton. I like watching Princeton play. Those boys can shoot from deep. And it's like I love that shit. I love it. That they're the ones that upset Missouri last year, I believe, late in the season. But and it looks like they carried over a little bit at 9-0. Go ahead and tell me why I'm wrong, Kyle.
I'm not going to tell you why you're wrong. I haven't gotten to watch Princeton yet this year, but I mean, I've seen the scores, and the scores have looked good. And the Ivy League, I mean, I just feel like it's. I mean, they're so smart that they take the fundamentals of basketball to another level, and I feel like that's what you get when you're watching Ivy League basketball. Is I feel like you're just watching basketball, not taken to like another physical level, another speed level, but it's just the some of the plays that you see and some of the defensive zones that they come up with. I mean, it's something else. It really is something else.
I'm pretty sure Princeton was a 10-point dog at some point in the season. They just won outright. I can't remember who they beat, but
Puff, do you agree with this?
Yeah, there's a fundamental difference between Ivy League schools and every other conference, in my opinion. I watched 4 Ivy League teams play this year: Penn, Princeton, Dartmouth, and Harvard. And I must say, it's like you can see there's a difference in the fundamentals, but there's a big difference with the athleticism too.
yeah, he's not wrong.
Well,
That's
there's
where
yeah. Go ahead.
that's where the problem is. But with Princeton is that they have a touch of athleticism. I'm not saying that they got all dudes that can go out there dunk on you and shit, but they have a touch of athleticism, and that's what separates them from a lot of other Ivy League schools. But I will say, Dartmouth this year. Dartmouth is a cash cow in the Ivy League. That team can ball. They can shoot. They got a really good big man underneath that kind of carries them. but they can shoot the ball, and I love watching them play this year. They're really good fundamentals.
All right, you guys that are listening in, this is Coach's Call on Tap. This is our college basketball show. If Puff sounds different, he joined us from the road. It was really cool because I'm sitting here FaceTiming my boy. We've got him on the show. So if he sounds different, it's because he's on the road. He's I don't know if he's working or he's going to the bar. I'm not sure what he's doing, but he's joining us from the road. But you guys make sure you comment on what you think these guys are about. This is Kyle's show. This is Puff's show. They know this basketball stuff. Let us know who you think the best in the Pac-12 is, the Big Ten, the Big East, ACC, SEC, Big 12. Let us know. Comment, hit the like button, subscribe. Let's keep this thing rolling. Mid-majors. Last week, we had 3 mid-majors that Kyle, you brought up. James Madison, Colorado State, and St. Joe's, right?
Mhm.
Are we still on that track in the mid majors? And Kyle, thank you for stepping in because you're fixing to give us a mouthful here. Kyle, let's start with you.
Yeah, James. I mean, we're still riding high on James Madison and Colorado State. James Madison they continue to find ways to win. James Madison money lines are just winning money left and right. And Colorado State is they're just a good basketball team. There isn't anything else to it.
Are we getting good juice on a James Mad money line? Are we still in the 130s, 140s?
It just depends on the matchup. They're not going to have any more. They don't have any more big games on their schedule. It's just, I don't want to say cupcake games because they're just playing other non-Power 5 schools, and that's what non-Power 5 schools do. But there's some where you could definitely make some money off of for sure.
Okay, all right, Puff. This is your bread and butter right here, buddy. This is your cup of tea. This is your skillet. Fill us up with what we should be looking at in these mid majors, buddy.
The first team I want to talk about is UMass Lowell. They arguably should be undefeated right now. They were up like 10 points against Arizona State and blew it in the last minute, but that's because they're one of the mid-major schools that never really
say that again. UMass what?
Lowell.
UMass Lowell. Lowell.
Okay.
They're a very talented team. Last year they should have made the tournament, but they lost to Vermont in their conference title. I expect them to win that conference this year. The next one is McNeese State.
Oh,
McNeese State has won me a decent amount of money this year. They were a dog. They were like a 6-point dog against UAB, which UAB is still a very talented team, although they lost majority of their guys last year. McNeese State is a team I look out for whenever they play these big schools, because they have a tendency to get like a 30-point spread against like Kansas or something like that, and they'll lose by like 10. So McNeese State is a team to keep their eye on.
Now, McNeese State, they're still in the Southland Conference, right? The South with the SFA. I coached at SFA 2 years of baseball there, and it was McNeese, Nicholls State, Northwestern, and Natchitoches. Texas State was another one that was in there, and Lamar, I believe. Anyway, they're still in the Southland Conference, right? They're still in the Southland. Oh, all the Louisiana schools, Louisiana Monroe, all those schools. Anyway, so McNeese is still in the Southland Conference. They won you money. We need to keep an eye on them. Who else, Puff?
Grand Canyon. We saw them last night. They got their first big win over a top 25 team. They beat San Diego State last night. I watched that game, and I must say those kids can ball. It's not that they're the best. They're not like the best team, but they fundamentally sound with a touch of athleticism. They're like an Ivy League school, and they're fun to watch. And when they're at home, that's gonna be my thing. Grand Canyon at home this year, they should cover every game.
Where is Grand Canyon, Puff? Where is Grand Canyon?
It's in Arizona.
I was about to say, where the fuck's the Grand Canyon at?
What do I look like, a fucking geography teacher? I'm trying to win money, you cocksucker. Gosh almighty. Shut up, Kyle. Go ahead, Puff. Keep going.
This is gonna sound fair, but Liberty's doing what they do every year. They're one of their big losses was at FAU. They didn't really show up that game, but Liberty's picking up where they leave off every year, and I expect them to cover a lot this season. And I got two more, and I'm done. Two more.
Dude, there's no time limit here. Calm down. Take a deep breath. There's no time limit. These fucknuts are already laughing at me over here anyway. Keep coming. Come on.
Okay, Western Carolina, they're 6-1 this year. I think they're a team that we need to keep an eye on. I wouldn't say bet them yet. I'd give it a few games, let them gel together. They have a lot of transfers. As long as like four of their five returners are starters, and they got a lot of transfers that came in from all these Power Five conferences. So they're a team to keep an eye on coming up through. They only lost one game this season, so I like them a lot. And then my last one is Santa Clara. Santa Clara is one of them teams that gives Gonzaga a run for their money every year in that conference. They're a very talented team, and they always seem to produce good players. They had that Jalen Williams kid that went first round last year, and then they had that Pojuleski guy who went first round last year to the Warriors. And every year it seems like they have these guards that are very talented. And I think they're a team this year where if they get hot, they could possibly give that conference a run for their money.
Holy cow, that was a mouthful. Hey, I think we've got more teams in the mid majors that are making us money than in the Power Six conferences. From what it sounds like, I don't know.
That's what I always talk about is if you can get a good edge with these mid majors, they don't seem to adjust the lines as much as these big conferences.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, Tristan, do me a favor because I'm fixing to move into something else. Can you look on our Discord in our college basketball thing? Our boy Irish has a total system that he's been following.
Yeah.
And I think he's waited because it's gone something like 14-0. And so he just posted plays today.
Yeah.
That are from his system. Can you pull that up for me real quick? So going back because I want to add these because these are totals. I think there's 2 overs and an under.
I got them if you want them.
Okay. Yeah, it's a system that he's playing. You guys, if you guys want them, we're going to give you what Tristan's going to give you one. If you want them, you got to go to our Discord and check them out. This guy Irish, he's been working on this stuff. I trust him. I tail him on a lot of stuff. Anyway, who's hot against the spread? We said BYU is.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Who else are we looking at right now, Kyle, that is hot against the spread?
Hot against the spread. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I didn't write this one down.
Who are we going to bet? Kyle, do we have any mid-majors, or do you know any Power Sixes against a spread that you're not scared to bet right now?
I mean, definitely Arizona. Definitely Arizona. Zona for sure. And there was a team, Houston. They've only not covered once. There was one game where they didn't cover so far.
I got you.
There's the 2 main teams I wanted to hit.
Puff, you got any others other than BYU, Zona, Houston?
I mean, Wisconsin's starting to turn it around, and actually they covered their last 2 games. I think they're starting to find their groove here with Shore starting to score. I think Wisconsin is a team that we should be betting until they fail us.
Okay,
they're starting to turn it up a lot, and I like that.
So with my trends and systems, Puff, I don't like to bet a trend or a system until it's gone at least 6 in a row, five to 6 in a row. Does that make sense?
Gotcha.
Yeah, until about 5 or 6 in a row. 2 or 3, that's a streak. 5 or 6, it's a trend. That's the way I kind of look at it. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So let's keep an eye on whiskey. If they win us a couple more, then let's hop on that train and see how far it'll take us. Who's not? Okay, you guys said this. K-State, we got to fade K-State. Kansas, we're still fading Kansas. Oklahoma State, we're still fading them. We put UCF on the fade list. Right?
Yep.
Okay. Yes, Am I missing anybody else?
I can just run down the fade list here real quick that I got here. I got it right here written down for you.
Perfect.
Got your pen and paper ready?
I got it. Let's roll.
All right. We got Oklahoma State.
Yep.
We got Notre Dame, Maryland, Oregon, Boise State. What's up?
Oregon, Boise State.
Puff said something. What did Puff say?
Nah, Maryland is a great team to fade. They suck. They're
Yeah.
fucking horrible.
Yep. Thank you, Puff.
Yeah.
They're giving Penn State a run for their money right this very second.
Yeah, no, I was
will
gonna say
say-
I'm bringing
I
it
will
up.
say this.
I didn't want to say this, but
We're
we gotta
bringing-
fade Penn State. We gotta fade Penn State hard. Penn
Okay,
State's
so-
losing.
I will
Penn
say
State's losing
this.
to Bucknell.
So when you have two teams that you're fading playing each other, or when you have your two teams that are hot against the spread and they're playing each other, lay off and find something else.
Yeah,
Right?
like Kansas State and Villanova last night. Hopefully, you all stayed away from that.
Oh,
Hopefully.
yeah.
And then, all right, I left off Penn State.
We're at Boise State, Penn State. Anybody else?
LSU has not looked good whatsoever this year.
Yeah, I don't
So
think they covered a game. They covered like 2 games all season. They're
I think they
horrible.
covered one game and they were playing a D2 school, I believe. So
Okay.
they look really bad. I mentioned South Carolina earlier. That's a controversial one. I wouldn't fade them fully yet. But keep an eye out on that. And then a big one that's probably going to shock everybody here, but I think a lot of people that watch college basketball can agree. We got to fade Michigan State right now. Michigan State just they don't got it right now. They are in disarray, and
Do they have the tools to get it at all?
They do. I mean, this freaking team's this is a team that's been around. They've played together for 4 years now. It's almost an all senior team.
I got you.
What I'm witnessing at Michigan State is jaw dropping. I picked Michigan State to go to the national championship in the preseason.
All right. Hey, so
Oh,
Puff, last week when we were talking to Kyle, we've got teams that we're betting totals on, overs, unders, all that good stuff, right? Last week is Miami, Bama, Kentucky. I'm gonna start with Kyle. Over games.
Yeah,
Who are you looking at right now?
those same three, and then bring Creighton back into the equation. Creighton is back, and they have found their stride. They walked into Nebraska in that rivalry game on Sunday, and I mean, they just murdered Nebraska from start to finish.
Okay.
Creighton looks to be back. Definitely add those. And then the main under, man, Virginia unders. The Virginia unders are looking fantastic. Only their last game did go over, but other than that, every single game this season has been under.
Okay. Puff, are you mess with totals at all?
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Indiana unders and St. Mary's unders, because St. Mary's, they play very slow and they can't really score that much. So all their games end in the 60s.
Is that the same St. Mary's team that went into the bracket last year and upsets?
Correct.
Okay. And they can't
But
score.
They lost a lot.
They lost a lot.
Oh,
Yeah, they
okay.
They
Okay.
lost a
Thank you.
lot.
Okay. So we're looking at unders on Virginia, Indiana, St. Mary's. Okay. We're going to keep an eye on what is it, Western Carolina, Santa Clara, and South Carolina? Because Puff, you're high on South Carolina. Kyle, you're not. So we'll keep an eye. We'll keep an eye on those.
I think you'll definitely find out South Carolina's true colors tonight. It's a big test for them tonight playing Clemson.
Playing Clemson.
Clemson's a good
Especially
team.
at home. Clemson
Clemson's
at
a good
home
team, yeah.
is one of the best. They turned that shit into a basketball environment, I must say.
Yeah.
And
That place can get loud.
atmosphere is insane.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
That place can
All
get
right.
loud.
I'm gonna have to tune in. Tristan.
Yep.
What are give me Irish's system total. Give me one of them.
All right, yeah, you get one.
Get
He's
one.
Lipscomb, Belmont under 161.5. So that's one he's got. He's got two other ones, and we're not
Okay,
gonna
so
get-
he's got two other ones. He's got two other ones. You guys go to the Discord, hit the Discord link, go over there, check him out. Go to our basketball thread.
he's
got
10. He's 10-0, by the way.
Yeah, he's 10-0 on the system plays. He's got
There you
3
go.
tonight. This is your free one for you guys that are listening. And then he's going to have maybe 2 more, depending on how these 3 go. He'll have 2 more later on, right?
Yep.
Okay. So we've come to the conclusion of our college basketball show. Kyle, let's start with you. Then I'll go to you, Puff, and then you, Tristan. Leave us with whatever, if you got anything else to give us, anything to add, something we should be looking at or staying away from. Go ahead, Kyle.
Just to mention two games that are getting played on Saturday. They're going to be that it should be two very good games. Illinois versus Tennessee. That game I believe is at 12 on CBS. That's going to be a fun one. And then the number one Arizona Wildcats versus the team that's maybe finding their stride in the Wisconsin Badgers. That's also on Saturday. So,
wow, we're going to learn a lot there, huh?
Yes, we
They're
will.
at home. Zone is at home.
Yeah, Zona's at home.
That's where the Grand Canyon is. Okay, cool. Hey, let's see. Puff.
Glad we all learned that today.
Shut up. Puff.
What's up?
Are you still with me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay,
I'm
perfect.
here.
Perfect. All right, what do you got? You got some good plays for us this weekend?
Yeah, I like the under in the Illinois Tennessee game. I don't think either team they'll be able to neutralize each other's scoring.
I
don't
like
think
it.
there'll be that many points scored. And then it'll be like a primetime game, kind of. So like it'll fit into all your categories, coach.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of your unders.
Well, yeah, I
one
like it. I
team-
like it, especially after what Kyle said about Tennessee not being very good and all that. I love that take on it. Go ahead.
And then one of the teams that I didn't mention that I would like to see get it together, and I think they will, is Wake Forest. I think Wake Forest is one of them teams, if they catch a groove, that they'll be able to make, I won't say a run, but they'll be a covering machine coming through the SEC this year.
So they need to
So they
watch
get
Wake.
going. Yep, watch Wake. And then that's all I really have.
Attaboy. I like it. Tristan.
I'm going to leave you with a piece of advice, just because it's still early and you might just be getting into college basketball betting. Don't get overwhelmed on a Saturday.
Yeah.
And there's 300 games on. You got to pick your spots and just don't chase either, because there's a lot of games to chase on.
That's some fantastic advice right there.
Yep, that's what I got.
Yeah, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Guys, thank you everybody for listening in. We appreciate you listening in. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell. Make sure you like. Make sure you comment. Tell your friends about us. Whether you like us or not, tell everybody about us. Come comment. Let us know what you like, what you don't like, what you want to hear, what you don't want to hear. I appreciate you guys. Love you guys for listening in. Puff, thank you for joining us on the road. Kyle, always a pleasure. We'll be back next week, man. Tristan, my man, doing the things behind the scenes over there in North Carolina. I am your coach. This is Coach's Call on Tap, college basketball show. Until next week, I hope all your tickets cash and y'all have fun. Be good. Adios.